Well, hello there, everyone. Today, I'm going to discuss England versus Scotland. Well, to be honest, there's no point because the match was absolutely shambolic. People were saying that this match is going to be amazing because of the rivalry between Scotland and England, but it failed to live up to its expectations. The match was deprived of quality and it was dull and pretty boring. The match lacked intensity, and I think the only time I saw energy and uh, intensity from the players was when they sang the national anthem, and you could just see that the fans were so frustrated because they expected to see an amazing match and they had every right to boo the players at the end of the match. Speaking of England first, actually, there's not much to speak about England because they were just awful. Sideways passing, midfielders passing to the defenders, no clever movements from the striker or the wingers, poor set piece deliveries, poor crosses. Uh, Overall, it was just horrible to watch. Uh, I don't know why people hype the singing team so much because you can just see that they don't have the quality to break down defenses. I can say that there's only one world class player in the team right now, which is HarryKane, and he looks a shadow of himself. He looked leggy, he looked disinterested, he had no involvement in the game, very few touches, and um, he hardly created any chances either. The wingers were disappointing. You can't expect much from Raheem Sterling these days because he's been found out. Everyone knows that he relies on his pace heavily, and since uh, these days, all the fullbacks are pretty pacey as well. So for him, it's very hard to beat them or find spaces. I think you can also blame Gareth Southgate as well for his tactics and his team selection. I know people say that Calvin Phillips has had an amazing game against Croatia, but him and Declan Rice, you can't have those two players playing together and then expect England to attack constantly and break down defenses. I think Gareth's approach is very defensive. He wants to solidify the team by having these two defensive midfielders and not concede a lot of goals, which is fair enough. But against a team like Scotland or against teams where England are expected to win against, I think you ought to have more attacking players rather than defensive players. I don't see Declan Rice or Calvin Phillips making those clever passes and feeding the strikers and giving through balls. Their passing is mostly sideways or back to the defenders. Yes, they can take the play, but they can't play that through balls to the strikers, like I said before. Overall, the team also lacks goals. If Harry Kane's not scoring, I don't see where the goals are going to come from. Raheem Sterling looks pretty ordinary. You can expect Phil Foden to produce moments of magic, but other than that, I don't think that England will score a lot of goals in this tournament, going forward in this tournament. I know it's a bit far-fetched, but imagine if Czech Republic beat England and Croatia beat Scotland, or Scotland beat Croatia, then England are going to be third in the group, which means that they will rely on other teams in different groups. If England need to go all the way in this tournament, then they need better team selection from Gareth Southgate, and they need to play with flair, and not have that defensive approach. Because if you see the winners from the past, hardly anyone wins the competition with defensive football. Yeah, I know Portugal won last time round, but that was a one-off. You can't expect. You can't just expect your team to beat good teams playing defensive football. And as for Scotland, they were just amazing. People expected very little from them, and I'm surprised that they didn't go on to win this match, because they looked the better team. Even not just defending wise, but even when they were attacking, they had the better chances. They were moving the ball much better than England. Yes, they didn't have a lot of possession, but whatever possession that they had, they were using it pretty well. Their approach was pretty similar to England's as well. Not to concede, and if they have a chance on the counter, then yeah, or on the set piece, then that'll be a bonus. But defensively, they were very solid. Kieran Tierney, uh, Andy Robertson, Hanley, everyone chipped in, but the best player on the pitch was by far BillyGilmour. He's just a 20-year-old kid, but he looked better than most of the players on the pitch.